Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the Cardo Spirit HD comms kit. This little beauty right here. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of tea, and let us get into the video. So ladies and gents, how are we all doing? I hope you're doing well. As the title of the video suggests, we are going to be discussing the Cardo Spirit HD comms unit. Now this is the first time I've ever owned a proper comms kit for any helmet that I've owned and for any bike that I've ever owned. I'm going to go through a few of the basic features, tell you what I like about the unit, tell you what I don't like about the unit, where I think it could be improved, and so on. Let us discuss the build quality of the unit. It's amazing. The unit itself is primarily plastic, but it is waterproof. It comes with 40mm speakers, which unfortunately are not JBLs. You can get JBLs as an add-on for this unit if you want to, but you have to pay like £100 for a what they call a second comms kit, which comes with a secondary cradle and the appropriate speakers. But in terms of what you get straight out of the box, I am very impressed. The Spirit HD, if you pardon the pun as I adjust my camera, oh excuse me, the Spirit HD as a single unit will run you £130 at most motorcycle shops, and for that money, like I've already touched upon, you will get 40mm speakers, a waterproof unit, a range of about 600 meters from one unit to another. Unfortunately, considering the price point of the unit, you cannot connect to more than one rider or one pillion at a time. That's one of the only real major downfalls to this unit, is the connectivity isn't great. Everything else, however, is very good in my opinion. Installation of the unit itself, very easy. With the Arrow RX-7, inside the cheek pads, you can actually remove segments of foam to give you the appropriate space for the speakers. The speakers themselves, like I said, are 40mm in diameter. You can get the standard Spirit, which has 32mm speakers, but in my opinion, for the sake of like, I don't know, 50 quid, you're better off going with the HD, I'll be honest. The speakers themselves do offer a good range of sound. Not quite as bassy as, say, a set of JBLs, but they're decent enough. Excuse me. They are decent enough. I don't think I need anything louder than what I'm currently using. In terms of the actual volume control, you can control it either via the unit on the side of the helmet, just here, or you can use it on the app on your phone. Now, in terms of what you get in the app, you can control various different levels. You can control the FM radio level, you can change different sound profiles, you can change how loud the phone calls are, how loud the music is, which one takes priority over the other, and so on. And I'll be honest, like I said, for 130 quid, I think it's absolutely amazing. The connectivity between my iPhone 11 Pro and the unit itself, very straightforward, very easy to do. The actual connectivity between most devices, not just Apple, but Android, Google phones and so on, they all tend to connect very well. I personally haven't had an issue with the signal dropping out or the connectivity breaking or anything like that, and it just works really well in my opinion. I can quite easily listen to a playlist at 50% volume on my phone, and it translates to just over 50% through the headset. The comfortability of installation of this unit as well is, by all intents and purposes, amazing. I know the speakers are there because obviously I can hear them, but in terms of feeling where they are, there's nothing. There's no discomfort, there's no rubbing on my earlobes, there's not a thing. I just can't, you know, there's not enough superlatives for this unit. It's built well, it sounds good, the connectivity is brilliant, the range of sound profiles that you get with the unit straight out of the box is pretty good as well. But what I can tell you straight out of the box, once you've got it on your helmet, you're pretty much sorted straight out of the box. Once you've got the initial setup done, depending on the age of the unit, you may need to do a firmware update, which literally takes a couple of minutes. But for me, I was lucky enough to get one of the newer versions, so there was no firmware update required. And what I like about this unit as well is that the speakers are close enough to my ears to be comfortable, but not so close that they're deafening. And if you guys remember from a previous video, I did actually, well, I say I did, I still do suffer with tinnitus, which, if you don't know what that is, it's basically a consistent low-level hum that people hear in their head, rather than being an actual audible noise. It's a little bit embarrassing for me personally when it comes to listening to music and even talking to people in general. When you are in a closed room, or an empty room should I say, all I can hear is a high-pitched eeeeee, but that's literally down to years of abuse listening to music way too loud than I should have done. Going back to the Cardo itself, I mean, I don't know if you can see, but how sleek it actually looks on the helmet. It's a really, really low profile unit. I thought it was going to cause more wind noise and more drag than what it's doing, but in actual fact it's the complete opposite. If you guys remember back in the day when I used to have my Drift Ghost S camera, I thought the same thing about that in terms of how wind draggy it was going to be, but I was wrong about that. Likewise, I am equally wrong about the Cardo Spirit HD itself, because I honestly thought that this unit was going to be so aerodynamically bad that I was going to get shitloads of wind noise, it was going to pull my head to the side and all that kind of stuff, but thankfully I was wrong. Whee! But yeah, I mean, literally I can't say much more about the Cardo itself. It's just such a good, well made, well put together, well thought out unit. And it's nice and easy for even the most basic of people to use. And like I've already said, I'm not the most technologically minded, but this unit is just so easy to use. It's one button answer calls, it's one button pairing, it's one button volume up, volume down, there's one button to turn the music on and off. It's an absolute joy to use. And I never thought in a million years, I never thought I would get a comms kit in the RX-7. Whether it be this particular one, another RX-7 that I may get in the future, or even my Nicky Hayden reset. I never ever thought I would get a comms kit in general, because I was always under the impression that when you have a comms kit in your helmet, it basically detracts from everything else. So you can't hear the road, you can't hear your bike, you can't hear people around you. But again, thankfully and gratefully, I've been proven wrong. Because even though the R1 is stupidly loud anyway, just like my 1098 is, I can still hear what's going on underneath me. I can see and I can hear, and you know, obviously I can see, but I can hear what's going on around me to a degree that if I had to, I could just quite easily turn the volume down on the music and still be able to hear everything that's going on around me and still be able to enjoy my music. And we've been almost 38, yes, I turned 38 in about a week's time from now. Literally a week today, actually, saying that. I am very much into my dad music, so I listen to things like Queen, sometimes a bit of ABBA, sometimes a bit of Bee Gees, but also I do like the odd bit of heavy metal, so things like Five Finger Death Punch, Megadeth, Iron Maiden, those kind of things all do feature quite highly in my music. And that's just another thing I like to touch upon when it comes to the speakers in this this unit. The actual range of the sound is actually really decent for what it is, and it just works really well. Like I've already said, they're not quite as bassy as say like a set of JBLs, but in terms of what you get straight out of the box, I cannot fault them. I could quite easily turn around and say, oh no, they're shit, they're this, they're that, the other, you need to get this, you need to get that, blah 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 blah. And yeah, okay, if you want the richest possible sound, then yeah, you will need to get the JBLs, because they are fucking amazing. I've heard them in person and they sound the absolute dog's bollocks. However, if you don't want to spend the money, and I'm not going to lie, they are expensive, JBL speakers will run you about 100 quid. And considering that if you spend 130 quid on the Spirit HD itself, Jigsaw, with spending £130 on the actual unit itself, to then have to spend another 100 quid on top of that just to get the JBL speakers, it's not really worth it. And I procrastinated about this for days and days and days. I talked to one of my guys at work who's very much into his music and sound engineering and whatever, and naturally he turned around and said, oh yeah, you need to get JBLs, you need to get JBLs, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, yes, I wish I could, but I don't have the money to spend on JBLs. As good and as loud and as clear they may be, I do not have the money for it, which is why I went for the Spirit HD, because I think personally it's the best kind of compromise. They're not stupidly loud, they're not stupidly distorted, and they do their job. They really do their job really, really well. And if anyone is interested in getting a Cardo comms kit, don't forget to check out their website, because you can actually compare the two. Well, you can compare multiple units one to the other. Like I said, if you haven't got a lot of money but you still want a decent quality audio kit, go with the standard Spirit. They retail at about 87 quid, I think, off the top of my head, so it's definitely worth a look. I personally think they're a good investment now that I've owned one, because like I've already said, I was very skeptical about how good or how bad they really were, and how bad they were in terms of distracting you from riding. Fuck me, that's distracting. As I'm saying, in terms of the actual quality of the unit, I really can't fault it. Value for money, it's definitely a 10 out of 10 for me. Okay, it is 130 quid, but if you can afford it, it's definitely worth looking at, in my opinion. I would quite happily choose a Cardo over a Senna any day. As you guys may or may not remember, I actually work in a motorcycle shop, so we sell these things on a daily basis. I, for one, like I've just said, would highly recommend anything Cardo over anything Senna. My reason being is that the connectivity is shit. With certain Sennas, they only pair with certain other Sennas. If they don't pair with any other Sennas, then you have a hard time pairing them to your phone. And in some aspects, that in itself can be an absolute fucking nightmare. As far as the Cardo comms unit goes, I cannot fault it. 100% cannot fault it. It's 10 out of 10 for build quality, 10 out of 10 for connectivity, 10 out of 10 for customer service, 10 out of 10 for the packaging. And I kid you not, it's well designed, it's well presented, it's well packaged. You know, everything about it just is good. Naturally, there are other units on the market now from Cardo that are equally, if not better. For example, the Cardo Pack Talk Edge, which is an amazing bit of kit, but also comes with a massive eye-watering price tag. And if you want one of those babies, you are looking at £339 for a single unit and around £600 for a twin unit, if you want to spend the money. Personally, I do not. On the whole, if you are in the market for a comms unit and you're happy to spend the money, the Spirit HD would be definitely something on my list that would be worth looking at. I really highly recommend it. Okay, fine, some people don't have £130 to spend, but if you do, I think for the money, the Cardo Spirit HD is probably the best thing on the market right now for that price point. Like I've already said about 35 times already, I would highly recommend it. It's a robust bit of kit. I don't think it will break on you, and I'll be honest, if someone said to me, oh yeah, you're going to buy another one, yeah, fucking definitely, I definitely would. Friends, But anyway, ladies and gents, this is where I'm going to leave you. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions, please feel free to put in the comments box down below, and I will get back to you as quickly as I possibly can. But for now, this is me, Lee, aka Rollin Thunder, saying look after yourselves, look after each other, stay safe on the roads, be aware of COVID-19, be safe, be happy, and as always, adios.